Good morning. Welcome to Richard Toy Princess. I'm Allison Troy, and today we're going to be doing some Gobots. Alright. So people voted, and this is what was picked. I grabbed a couple different pages. Scooter, and then this double page spread. Don't know that we will get to all of it, but I figured I'd give a good selection. Also, these tend to go a little bit quicker than normal pages, so figured might as well try. Also have a room full of cats. At some point, they may need to get kicked out. So let's get Scooter taped down, and we'll start here. I did pull up some references, and from one of the Gobots storybooks, and so I'm going to use that as my basis. And right now I'm just kicking cats out of the room because they're already being disruptive. Here you go. All right. We are catless-ish. All right. And good morning, CJ. There we go. Thanks. Perfect. All right. Now, with all of that done, let's finish taping Scooter up and get going. So normally when I do a short, I would do background and then Scooter. We're going to do Karan Dash for the background, which requires water. So I'm going to do Scooter first. Just because it tends to warp the paper. Because I've already moved my heater, the hand dryer, to dry out the paper into the studio, so it's not convenient or handy. So yeah. So we're going to do this a little backwards, but that's okay. It's a live stream. It's a little bit different. And how are you today, CJ? Excellent. There we go. Oh, wait. One of your cats. No. All right. So we're going to start Scooter. Yep, we are starting with Scooter today. And he's mostly red, so I'm trying to give him a little texture. My hand has been acting up today, so I'm going to try to do the full 2 hours, but if I have to end a little bit early, that is why. I did like 8 hours of filming yesterday, and sometimes it's a little much, so I thought we will see. And I'm going to put on some birds, with music anyway. There we go. Feeding the ducks. Get that down to reasonable. Yep, exactly. That's pretty good. Karan Dash, the water-soluble crayons that I use. There we go. All right. No worries. Yeah, just what you can. Understood. Gotta go. Alright. There's one lingering cat. So. And just a lot of red for Scooter, obviously. It's funny, there aren't, Scooter himself doesn't really have a lot of the Gobots were very one color, so it kind of makes sense though. Most cars are actually just like one color. It doesn't always make them the most interesting subjects though. But in the background, I'll bring some more color in, so it's not just red and silver and black. Hello, Mint with Card. He's pretty good. He's one of the fun ones. Yeah, like I've got my stuff on, but still, some days are just, you know, I've been between filming all those hours yesterday. We're also putting the Lost in the studio together, so I moved a bunch of stuff. Hello, Berdazzle, welcome. Yeah, I think now the Gobots themselves currently have been absorbed into Transformers, and some of that is Tonka Toys. Originally, Tonka did the Gobots, and Hasbro had Transformers, and then Tonka bought Kenner Toys in like 1990, and then in 93, 94. I believe that's the right. No, it was I'm sorry, Tonka was 87 that they bought Hasbro. I mean, they bought Kenner, and then Hasbro bought Tonka in, I think, 1991. Dates are a little fuzzy right now because I don't have all of my research right in front of me. So at that point, the names for the GoBots were created by Tonka. So Tonka owns the names of the GoBots. I don't know if they necessarily own the toys, because GoBots weren't necessarily it was all licensed from the Japanese markets in the 80s. So GoBots existed over in Japan as a different toy line. Tonka went and licensed them. Same way that Hasbro licensed Transformers initially back in the 80s. But they brought them over here, and over in the US, as the Tonka toys came up with the lore for GoBots. So all the names and character traits, etc., came up with by Tonka. So they own that. They don't necessarily own the designs, which I think is why a lot of some of the GoBots I've seen released as Transformers have slightly different design, not slightly different. Some of them are pretty radically different. And I think that's because Hasbro owns the names of the GoBots, but not necessarily the toys. And don't quote me per se on the design toy side of it, because I am not 100%. I am still researching GoBot stuff. So, I don't for sure know what the breakdown of the actual toys are. I'm going to assume some of it is licensing. Like Crasher was a Lamborghini, so I don't know, that in this day and age, whether or not Hasbro can, or if Lamborghini would even license the designs for some of these things. So, and most of the most iconic of the GoBots had really specific to the vehicle model they were. If you can't do Crasher as a Lamborghini, is it really Crasher? But anyway. And hello, Alex. Yeah, Tonka trucks. I think every kid in the 70s had something Tonka. Yeah. Okay. Cool. See, I knew it was I knew the Japanese side had different names. Still digging into all of that. I liked GoBots better as a kid and had those because they were cheaper. But I'm just now digging into Transformers and GoBots. And it's partly Toy Geeks. I'm paid researcher for the Toy Geeks podcast, and the next toy line they're doing is Transformers. So I'm learning all about the Transformers right now. Transformers 84. So I haven't quite got as far as the GoBots, only that they are somehow now in this day and age. Because Hasbro, for sure, there's the connection, but I don't know if the original companies in Japan were the same initially, or if they've been purchased, or I have not got that far in the research. So, but it's a fun time to. I've been planning on doing GoBots content on the channel myself anyway, so it was kind of a nice, synchronicity that I've been planning some GoBot content and researching GoBots anyway that Jay wanted to do. It could be Dan wanted to do, I don't know. I don't know how that's, how they pick which toy lines and when. I'm going to assume they sort of hash that out together. But I'm going to assume that just based on some of the Geek Dad Life stuff, I'm going to assume that Jay doesn't know as much about Transformers. I'm going to assume that Transformers might have been Dan Larson's pick. So we'll see. I'll find that out with the rest of you on the first episode. But yeah, so it's a good excuse though. Like I was, like Transformers are one of those things. Transformers themselves, I was never interested really in as a kid. And I find sort of the longevity of it and sort of the lore of it does interest me, but I've never really had a reason to sort of dig into it. So it's kind of the nice about being a good researcher. Sometimes you get to research something you don't really know a lot about, but are curious about. It was like that with when we did the week that they did Inhumanoids. That was a fun week to sort of dig into the Inhumanoids. The Superman Man of Steel, that was a fun week. I'm a big comic book nerd, but I never knew about sort of the Kenner toy line, so it was just fun. There's some weeks that are really fun to sort of research. G.I. Joe was fun at first, and then it just turned into such a... There's so many products in the vintage G.I. Joe line that it was very tedious. I'm trying to figure out... And it was also really early in the podcast, so it was really hard to know what Dan and Jay would want to talk about, so you kind of I just dumped everything into the files. Whereas now I kind of have a sense, of what to put in and what not to put in, so that, they can focus on what they want to focus on. Hello, Brick. Lovely to see you. Yeah, not GoBots per se, Transformers. So, yeah, for toy geeks, yeah. So, technically two different things, but close enough. Yeah, Transformers, they announced Transformers as the next toy line at the end of the last one, so I can say Transformers. And tangentially to that, if that word is right, that means I'm going to be digging more into GoBots, which is fine. Again, as I mentioned, I like GoBots. They were my jam. GoBots had girls, Transformers did not. And that kind of determined a lot of my toy lines as a kid. Other than, like Strawberry Shortcake, I didn't really care for Barbie as a kid so much. But Strawberry Shortcake was my jam. Glamour Gals, She-Ra, of course. But as far as like action figures, if there was not a girl in your toy line, I did not care. So I was not going to buy your toy line. I think I bought some of the Masked figure sets. I didn't never buy any of the Masked vehicles as a kid, but I also had a bunch of Eagle Force because of Goldie, and those were the same scale as Masked. So I bought some of those so Goldie would have like other figures in her scale. So, and then I stole all of my brother's Masked toys to play with. So that was the year my dad built us a big dirt mound out in the yard that we turned into it was like a play set. And it, it's the South, so it was there long enough to grow some dirt and have foliage on it. And it was it's very sad when it finally washed away. And I only ever once saw a nature rat climb up on it, so that's pretty good for where we were. No gators, though. They never got that far into the yard. We did have one try to hibernate under our house one time. But you get the game warden, they come, they take the gator to the gator farm. As far as I know, they did. I mean, the first Gobot I got was Pathfinder, and she was like a spaceship. She was a girl on the cartoon, though. In the limited research I've done, the toy line initially presented her as a male. But in the cartoon, she was a girl. Smallfoot, Sparky. Crasher was always a girl, as far as I know. At least as far as when the cartoon hit. I don't... Based on the years, though, that I'm looking at, it looks like the cartoon sort of hit around the same time as the toy line did. So there's not... In my limited knowledge, based on my research at this time, the toy line and the cartoon hit roughly the same time. So technically, there may have been some that Tonka didn't technically consider girls when they were releasing the toys, but the cartoon did. And that's, you know, for me, the cartoon was where it started. I saw the cartoon and then wanted Gobots. So marketing works, especially in the 80s. But yeah, Crasher was super cool because she was like a femme fatale, and she could stomp her foot and send a lightning bolt. So super cool. It took a while to find Crasher. She was pretty popular, I think. But I had Pathfinder, Smallfoot, Spacey, which was the space shuttle one. I think Grey Challenger even was when I had that one. Yeah, it seems like they wouldn't have. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, because Challenger was what, like 86, 87? Gobots were 86, 85. For me, anyway. I mean, they started hitting in 84, but my prime year with Gobots was like 84, 85. Sort of right before She-Ra hit. Right after Star Wars started disappearing, right before She-Ra. And then a little bit alongside She-Ra. You know, because at some point I ran out of She-Ra figures to buy. Because I had all of them. And then I would buy second ones. Just because, you know, when you play with them a lot. Like my first Glimmer, her hair got really sort of natty. Because it was super curly, so. Yeah, Crasher was good. Alligator's okay. You have to cook it properly. If it's badly cooked, it tastes like fishy chicken. And the best prep I've had alligator is shredded and fried into balls. And sometimes if you mix it with like mac and cheese, it will kill some of that fishy taste. But it has to be prepared really carefully. So. Oh yeah. I'll get there at some point soonish. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, alligator though is like, yeah, like it tastes good if it's properly cooked. It's like catfish. If you don't properly cook catfish, it's gross. And a lot of people can't properly cook catfish. So I never order it at restaurants, no matter how much I'm like, catfish would be delicious today. Because if you get it and it's been poorly cooked, it tastes like mud, because they're literally fish that live at the bottom of the pond in the mud. And we used to go catch them. There used to be a pond right by our house that was full of catfish. And you go catch them and eat them. Well, I mean cook them, but eat them. I also had a pond full of garfish. Those are not good to eat. I mean, like, you can eat them. They're just, I never found them tasty. These do not recommend garfish. They're also sort of like a bird fish, where they like live in the bottom of muddy ponds and rivers and stuff. And so, this would be super. The art in this Gobot coloring book is not necessarily the best. It's super sketchy. I mean, in the way the lines are done. Not like, you know, the guy, whoever did it was being shady or whatever. And they were trying to combine the cartoon with the actual toy line to sort of merge the two. So some of the Gobots aren't quite accurate to the toy or the cartoon. So we're just going to be a little artistic artistic liberation. Yeah. Be a little artistic liberation here. Scooter is super, like, he's a lot of red. My brother had Scooter. I did not have Scooter, but I ended up with all the Gobots, so. I ended up, I think, with all the Gobots, and he got all the G.I. Joe except, like, Scarlet. Like, I kept the ladies and Chuckles and Crystal Ball, and then he got the rest of them. And it's funny how, like, right at the end of as a kid, toy collector, when it was time to start divvying everything out because I was about to get out, so that I could basically put my stuff in storage. Like, I ended up with all the Star Wars, and then all the Gobots, and he got all the He-Man, all the G.I. Joe. Again, I kept Tila, Evelyn, and the Sorceress. And Zodak. I kept Zodak. But otherwise, he got all of that. I know it all lives somewhere in the marsh under hurricane, debris. Probably with a bunch of catfish and alligators. So. Got a Scooter. I'm going to find a gray. Because the wrist is acting up today, there will be a lot of pencil sharpeners, so I apologize for your ears. But after stream, I am going to go soak it for a bit and go out and set some stuff up in the studio. And with any luck, either next stream or the stream after, I'll be in the studio. So that'll be cool. Aw, I have a kitty that just wants to sleep on my foot. Yeah, we're being super lovey. I will say these kittens are all love bugs, which is not a bad thing. Super cuddly. I wake up every morning covered in kittens. So. This should probably be silver because I think these are the knee joints. And these are part of the legs. Okay, and this is, that's supposed to be his headlight. And we'll just put some yellow down there to break it up a little. And technically this is black, but we're gonna go again with this orange yellow. No, wait, I apologize. This is Spanish orange. Although I still don't know what makes it Spanish. I've tried to figure it out. So far as I can tell, there is nothing in Spain that, no special yellow in Spain. So we'll call that artistic liberty or something. I'm sure eventually they will rename this one something like gold and orange or some such. I've noticed they've started doing that with even like things that used to be like flesh tone are getting like peach and light peach now. So that's pretty cool, as it should be. So, because it actually does, even when I'm trying to do skin tones, make it hard. Whenever like the formula says, now use flesh. It's like, I'm trying to make flesh. This pencil is not going to create flesh. Oh, hello Rolando, lovely to see you. Oh, there we go. And then I see Nolan is here. Hello Nolan, thank you. And lovely to see you, Rhea. There we go. Make sure I didn't miss anyone else. There we go. My goal with YouTube is, like, I don't ever expect to be famous, but I would like at one day to make enough to have somebody on every stream to read comments and pay somebody to edit. Like, that's my YouTube money goals. Probably never get it that much because it's expensive. I looked into hiring a good editor. With the editor I can afford right now, it's better just to do it myself because if it looks bad, it's my fault and not something I paid for. I have a friend who edits and does videos for Screen Rants, so if I ever have that kind of money, I know who I'm going to call. So. Alright, there we go. Scooter is done. So we're going to do the background now, and I'm going to use, of course, the Caran d'Ache. These water-soluble crayons. There we go. There's my southern crayon. I don't think there's a way to say it without the accent. I'm going to apply this priority liberally. We'll probably be doing more Gobot pages for shorts because they do go a little bit faster and they're a lot of fun for me. You sort of like, this is a nice thing about doing the Care Bear shorts every Sunday for like a year. Is a lot of the Care Bear shorts are not super. The Care Bear pages weren't super complicated, so I was able to sort of really practice doing fur effects and playing around with the Caran d'Ache to sort of for backgrounds and whatnot. Really got stuff like balloons and balloons and hearts and all sort of little things that it's fun to you can figure out how to do effects for them. So And kind of super easy, but also not. So it didn't take as much time, but I got to really practice these skills. So I'm gonna do a lot of Gobots in the next couple of months because it's sort of the same thing. Because of all the metallics, there are a lot of things I can practice doing those. And who doesn't like robots that turn into cars? And if you don't, I feel bad for you. Because it means you've lost your sense of wonder. Layer some orange in there, like really dark orange. Scooter is, let's see what color I'm gonna do. Let's do some yellow. And I go really heavy with these. Some people are very light and use them almost like watercolor. They are expensive, so the way I'm using them is counterintuitive to that. But this is also my first, this little one was the first set I bought like 3 years ago. And the bigger set I bought 2 years ago. So all of the colors in here are duplicated here. And I also have the biggest set they have. We just haven't opened it yet. We don't need it yet. So I do go a little bit heavier than some people would with these, and it's just because I've got 2 other sets that I haven't really even touched yet, and all of them have basic colors. So, if you're wondering, because there are tutorials on the internet with these where people are very much more like me. So if you see those and you're wondering why I'm not, it's because I have some extras of these colors. Once these are gone, I'll probably be way more careful. But for now. Use brown. Put a little bit of this sort of, I think this orange. So they're calling this one orange. So we'll put the orange in with the brown. It'll make a give it a nice color because these do sort of mix. A little gray in here. Get a smoke out. To the gray, I'm going to add some blue. Let's see. Hello, Podrex and Palpatine. Welcome. Sometimes, today not so much. Today it's just a cardstock paper. And unfortunately this cardstock paper is not the best for these, which is why it kind of stinks that I forgot to, or that I already took the hand dryer out to the studio. It just means I have to, I can't soak the paper as much, so I go a little bit lighter with the water than I might normally, but it's okay. Even if the paper does warp, I can flatten it. So Where it seems to make the most difference is if I don't have the hand dryer with the paper. When I do the background first and then the pencil part, if I don't dry the paper, if for whatever reason changes the consistency of all the paper, so the pencils don't stick as easy. Because I'm going to assume, obviously, the chemistry of the paper is going to change a little if you're, you know, getting it wet right up into the line. So, some science there for sure. But I like sort of the bright orange I can get. I mean, I could do this obviously with Prismacolor or even alcohol markers, but something fun about getting a watercolor look with these, with the Caran d'Ache. So. I will go back and read your comment, CJ, about the Spanish orange thing. It's just once you start doing the water, you have to kind of go. So. I like pencils where I can pause and read chat or send a snarky comment if I'm watching a chat. I was watching a live stream. What day was that? I think it was Friday. And it was about book talk stuff. Because I watch a lot of weird stuff beyond just toy content. And somebody in the chat just said something, and I did get banned from that chat. So anyway, but it was just important to know that, like, you know, especially for that person to know that she was a piece of shit. So it was worth the ban. You have a very low threshold for people spouting white supremacy kind of stuff. So I let her know that she was a piece of shit. And I got banned for it, but it's okay. In that case, like, that's not a chat that's not a channel I want to watch if they're gonna defend that sort of rhetoric. So it was worth it. It was also one of my extra accounts, so it's not like it was a main account. I can always go back with one of the other ones and remind her again that she's a piece of shit. Alright. Oh yeah, I love, it's not even, sometimes it's not even technically snark, it's just like, some people just need to be reminded that they're shit, and they will always be shit if they don't change. So. A lot of people have become far too bold with being bad people. So, I have a very low threshold for that, especially if it's on one of my other accounts. I do, you know, like, somebody tried to send me to Twitter the other day, and it's like, oh, I can't, I'm not on there anymore. And I was like, it's really good, because the preview of the comment they were sending me to, I would get banned on modern day Twitter for what I would have replied to, right? It's like, it's okay. Twitter is mostly bots now anyway. And again, this is part of why I like using it. It's really fast, so, and it's a really cool effect. It looks super bright. Alright, now is where we find out if my blend for the ground is going to work. I'm going to make sure I've used it before for some Mode 2 pages. But you never know. That was also on different paper. That was on paint. That was on thicker paper designed for watercolor. This is just heavy cardstock, which ironically I find most useful for printing pages and adult coloring. A lot of the really heavy sort of like color pencil paper that they sell is too thick for my printer, so it always, my printer can't print on it because it can't even get it through. So and the next printer I upgrade to, I'm going to get something that I can put watercolor and color pencil paper through, because I'll be able to really get some nice effects with that. And I have like graphite paper, so I can easily sort of trace over stuff to put it on the thicker paper, but that's a lot of work for a coloring book. Like, I like to save that amount of effort for original art. Which, yeah, and my most recent original art were 3 of those 4 Blade Runner pages. And I had fun doing those. Like the whole process of them, not just the coloring. So it was cool though doing the color on them and sort of getting, none of them sort of came out exactly how I pictured it in my head once I put the color down, but I got pretty close. So, and next year, next June, for the next anniversary of Blade Runner's release, I'm going to do a few more pages. I'm already trying to figure out, I've already picked out 4 characters I want to do. But I have to. It takes me a while to draw. Especially because I'm trying to break all of the old bad habits when I drew all the time. So it takes a lot longer to get the arty of it, the actual like doing good work of it down. But also I would much rather take that much longer and be happier with it than sort of go faster and have something I don't like as much. I'm really fortunate. I have a lot of really artistic friends who are stepping up. Like my friend who did the press page for the Blade Runner stuff. She saw the 3 that I did, and she was like, "Oh, I want to do a press for you now that matches, like a headshot." So next year when I do Blade Runner, she's going to do a press for me that's in that style. So that'll be cool. And I don't know why. Like, Blade Runner is not necessarily one of my favorite movies. It's just I really like it. It's a movie I like more now that I'm older. When I was a kid, I hated it. I thought it was really weird and boring and dumb. And why is Han Solo all moody? And then as I've gotten older, I've come to really appreciate it. I think a lot of the themes hit harder now that I'm older. But it's slowly become one of those movies where it's like I will put it on in the background when I need. I don't want to say reassuring, but like when I need something I've watched before that I can just sort of jump in and out. I know that comfort watching is quite the right word for it, and it's funny because I don't appreciate Sean Young as an actress. I don't think she's, one of my all-time favorite pieces of snark was a review of her movie A Kiss Before Dying in People magazine. And this review is a big part of my personality, to be honest. And the review starts with, "In A Kiss Before Dying, Sean Young plays twins, neither of whom can act. And 1990 me like howled for hours. I had that at one point. That review was clipped out and taped to my wall next to my Wilson Phillips and Johnny Depp posters. I think I replaced a Debbie Gibson for that. But anyway, I think Sean Young's very wooden acting style works. For Rachel, I think it's perfect for that. She's great in the movie, so. Despite my other reservations about her thespian skills, I think in Blade Runner, that works in her advantage. I think she's a better actress now. I've seen some more recent work from her where she actually worked on the craft. I just also think 1980s Hollywood was not a place that necessarily cultivated acting skills, especially in someone like Sean Young, who is very beautiful woman. So it's not just a whole different world. It's like now, like, yeah, you're pretty, that's fine, but we also need you to act. So, all right. We'll let this dry just a little bit. And go on with some paint pens. Oh, hello, Andrew. Lovely to see you. Hello, Boba Hicks. And there's Kenzo. Hello, Kenzo. It seems as though work is going really well, Kenzo. Congratulations. Right. It's a little wet, but unless you're Ben Shapiro, a little wet never hurt anybody. I think my paint pin's about to die, though. There we go. So then I'm going to get rid of some of the black ones in there. Oh, I missed his bottom tire shot. So let me fix that real quick. I'm just going to use a black marker and cheat. Go and use the silver jump pen. Right, and Scooter is done. So, right, same Alex, same. I was very sad. I didn't have time. I haven't had time yet this week to make a sound clip for a cow. No, but I will have that hopefully for next week. Also, there are some slight schedule changes. Battle Ram Adam was supposed to be here next Sunday, but he's got some scheduling things. But also, I'm gonna buckle down this week to work on the studio, so I may not stream next Sunday. And if I do, I'll just work on whips or whatever, because I don't know what state. Because we're to the point where everything can go out there now, which means the work computer, which means I have to spend all that time getting the work set up. which is not quite as ad hoc as I can throw a stream together pretty quick, but the work stuff takes a while to sort of build up. Alright, anyway, Scooter's done. I also picked a 2-page spread. I know, ambitious. I'm not going to tape it down side by side, but anyway, I thought I definitely won't finish both of them, but I thought we could stretch. It'll be fun. I don't think I've ever done a 2-page spread live, so hey, first time. Well, but it's blurry. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, CJ. Technically, yes. I don't know to what extent. I talked about it earlier before you got here. I don't know that Hasbro owns the designs because those are owned by a specific company in Japan. They own the names because they own Tonka. So I don't know if they can drop original figures with the original names. So. Aw, and I didn't get to go. Yeah, this was I think. Yeah, I had both of the Gobot playsets, and they were pretty cool. I used the box from this playset that it came in was what I kept all of my G.I. Joe file cards, I would cut the card back art from Masters of the Universe, Princess of Power. That's where all of the Superpower, all the mini comics lived, all of the Star Wars card, because they would have the picture of the characters on it. That any packaging I kept from an action figure lived in the box for the Gobot Command Center. And so there's a lot in there. Like toy booklets, all the Masters of the Universe, those big fold-out posters that had the figures and toys on one side, and then with the William George art on the other side, those all lived in there. No, it's perfect. Like on a rainy day, I would just break it out and read through it and stuff. So lots of holiday fun. And that was where I would sort of look at the Motu mini comics and be like, wow, these first 4 are really good. And the rest of these are okay. And now it's just like the cartoon. The cartoon is not my favorite thing. So. I'm probably going to be a little bit more detailed on this than I might normally be on a live stream, just because it's a pretty cool page. So this one we definitely are not going to finish as quickly as we did the Scooter. And I'm going to get fussy with it. So there'll be shading, we might not get past doing gray walls before the end of the stream, and for that I apologize. But it's a pretty cool 2-page spread. But I didn't necessarily want to do it as a Friday color and show because there's another 2-page spread from this book that I want to do that's a lot more dynamic, I think, that will work better as a Friday video. So it's kind of how I pick those Friday Friday videos, like what is cool, what is dynamic, what can stand on its own for 5 to 7 minutes. 2, I just had a kitten bite my toe and go right back to sleep. So, menace. You are a minister. I'm gonna kick you back out. You know, there, he's asleep. So even paying attention. Hello, welcome. Oh wait, there we go. That's better. You're just bougie. That's all. It's okay to be bougie. I mean, you know. Bougie people need love too. I think that's what Samantha Fox said in that song. Right? Maybe, just maybe. Bougie people. No, that's not what she said. Never mind. She was advocating for naughty girls, which is technically naughty girls could be bougie, but I don't think so. I think that's what she meant. Maybe we should ask her. Next time someone sees Samantha Fox, ask her, what did you mean when you said naughty girls need love too? My mom sure did not like when I would play Samantha Fox records and would dance around the house and knew every word. I mean, you know, like, when you're 12, this is normal, right? Alright, I'm gonna do his face. Let's see. So he's got red eyes and the mouth is red. I can never tell if the command center was also like a sentient robot or if it just had a face. Which was pretty confusing, to be honest. Also, like, if he is sentient, like, how did he realize that he was okay with, like, having all these people inside of him, like, so that they could all travel across space? Like, is that, like, your calling, or are you just born and you're like, I'm gonna have, like, hundreds of smaller people inside of me? Like, there are a lot of questions that I have. I don't know if this is a place to ask those questions, but I've got the questions. And for the eyes, I'm going to use a red glitter pen. Sparkle them up a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, I would definitely take that as an attack. And then I would go inside and clean the buffet table off and eat everything. I did that at one of my ex's weddings that I was invited to. I just went and ate all of the food. I mean, to be fair, it was only like 8 Domino's pizzas and some breadsticks and a sheet cake, but still. I didn't leave anything for anyone else. And I'd do it again. That's not completely. I did not eat the pizza that had anchovies on it because, you know, I've got standards. The only proper way to eat anchovies is blend it up into a dressing for Caesar salad, where the saltiness of the fish is counteracted with the oils and the other components of the dressing. Oh my gosh, same. When we finally get to meet in person, Andrew, or whatever Comic-Con or Toy Tube gathering, you and I will have a sheet cake eat off, and we'll see who can eat the cake the fastest. Extra points for whoever can shove the whole cake in their mouth first. My money is on you, but hey. I would have to do chipmunk cheeks to get just big fistfuls of cake. So, we'll sheet cake off it. I looked into one point, circa 2018, I was trying to figure out what kind of oven I needed to make sheet cakes, and then realized there was no room in the apartment for it. Technically I have room for it now, but I would much rather have toy display than like a big oven to make sheet cake. Have a good day, Brick. We'll see you next time. I think the talk of cake does much for the Brick. So obviously we're not being 100% accurate with what the command center color scheme is, because this art is not 100% accurate, but I'm trying to be reasonably close. I do have a reference photo up on the computer, but the artist took liberties, and we love that for him. You know, it's a good day for cakes. Like, it's a good day for cake. I want to make roast Krispie treats tonight. I got a bunch of marshmallows that will go bad soon. And a box of Rice Krispies. I'm not going to eat this cereal. Even though that's what I bought them for, was to have cereal. I had a bowl of Rice Krispies last week and I was like, I don't like these by themselves. Unless they're part of a Rice Krispie treats, I know. We didn't eat a lot of Rice Krispies as kids, though. My mom tended to get us Honey Nut Cheerios, and then of course she would get me Special K. And then I would sneak my brother's Cookie Crisp. And Blueberry and Frankenberry. And because my feeling is no 12-year-old should have to eat Special. I like Special K now and eat it all the time, but as a child, no. There was one point where she was like, "Here, your breakfast is a cup of yogurt and like a scoop of grape nuts." Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, that does not help an eating disorder. Oh, well, have fun at the mall, Kenzo. There's a Robin Sparkles song all about that. You should look it up. Hello, Universal Toy Collector. How are you today, Stu? I'm really glad to know, Stu, my collection room is almost set up. So once it's all ready to go, I will reach out so we can schedule stuff. And then we can start talking about when to have you back here, so that we can color more stuff and chat more. I have to say, this was a pretty cool playset, and what I liked about this playset as a kid was I could also use my Strawberry Shortcake miniatures and my Smurfs in this playset. So, if you ever wondered, did the Smurfs or Strawberry Shortcake or the Get Along game go to space? Yes, they did. And the Gobot Command Center. I also used it at one point as a Rebel. Like as a Rebel base. Star Wars figures don't fit as well in it, but I did use it for that. So. And then I used the Renegade one, the villain set. I used that as to extend out my Death Star. So. And very awkwardly stuffed the Emperor in there to be his like throne room. I'm getting a big Rebel play set. Yeah, it's funny. I can eat grape nuts now, but for years, the thought of eating like anything grape nut related just terrible, awful flashbacks. So this is supposed to be sort of a command center, like like the bridge or something where the Gobots stand and watch. But it's out of scale, obviously, with the rest of it. And the art. In the actual cartoon, it was all in. It worked better, so. And again, the coloring book artist was trying to morph the toy with the cartoon, with the comic books. No, not comic books, the storybooks. Because this actual, the story in this coloring book is actually directly from that first Gobot storybook. So much so that it looks like they traced some of the art directly to make coloring book pages. So. Very nice. Okay. This is coming out. Oh, nice. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Sounds exciting. Very exciting. All right. Let's see. All right, so now it's time for toys. And technically everything is gray, so. Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I want to see. Okay. Alright, good. Let's step back to make sure that that's not just one gray blob. But it looks like it's all. It's pretty distinctive, so that's good. Okay. Thanks. There we go. Alright. Most of the gray is done. Technically, there are a few places that are supposed to be gray, but no. We'll get over it. So I'm going to use a marker, an alcohol marker. I'm going to go in, and these are things that technically should be gray. Like consoles and panels. I'm going to use the blue. So I'll go in. Just so that it will stand out a little bit. It's not all the same. Because otherwise that gets pretty boring. And a lot of the actual Gobots will use various blues for the metal and whatnot. So technically this is in line. It's just starting to look like a big gray blob from where I'm sitting and even on the screen, so that's not too bad. Alright, yep, that worked. Alright, I'm going to do a black gel pen, a glitter gel pen for some of this that technically should just be all black. But I'm going to give it a little bit of a shine. There we go. All right, that helps a lot. Caesar salad is good. Can you give in and make this salad? Like, it should be a Caesar. Caesar salad is the best salad ever made. Got a little bit of some space right here. Do a space C. Put some planets in there. Alright, that's right. We'll go do the ring around the planet in a second. Show some stars. It's supposed to be space. Still need that to dry. So in the meantime, let's go in and do some of these view screens. Me too. Hello. Hi, Ed. I'm the cat visitor. Right. Okay, get this. It is dry. There you go. Ring around the planet. All right. Oh. Hello, Derek. I hope your weekend is good so far, too, and I hope things are going well with the kid. Hopefully all is well. I think I'll use the yellow glitter gel pen for that. See how that looks. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. Yep. There we are. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to close out my command center. Reference. All right, now let's do the ground. For the ground, I'm actually going to use an alcohol marker. Use this orange. Orangish, brownish, yellowish. Try and mix it up a little bit just so that these, just so that Gobotron, because this is where they are in this page, they're on planet Gobotron. And I just kind of want it to look a lot brighter, but also not sort of all the same. The mixed media look just to sort of get across the alienness of Gobotron. All right, almost done. All right, and we got some ground. Very good. Oh, thank you, CJ. And while doing that, it looks like I missed a little bit of the command center, so I'm going to try really quickly for that maybe. Let's see. Okay, so we've got the sky, and then we've got the 3 Gobots. I'm going to start with Crane Brain. I think that's his name. Double check. Yeah, Crane Brain. And luckily, he's basically Spanish orange. And I missed more command center. Fix that really quick. Yeah, Alex, it was. I had this one as a kid. Google the Gobot Command Center, and it'll pull up all the different pictures of it. There's some pretty decent ones out there. It was pretty affordable. My memory of it is like it was $14.99. And most places at the time were like $19 to $29.99. So it's pretty affordable, which I'm pretty sure is why. I mean, there was a birthday where I got both this one and the villain version. Like, I got both of them for my birthday that year. So either they were on sale for even less, or they were definitely $14.99. As my parents, the budget for birthdays, which included like getting the cake, because my mom would get like a big sheet cake for our birthdays, but the budget was always $100. So it had to be cake, and like if we wanted pizza or whatever, like whatever you wanted, you know, like your special meal to be, all of that came out of the budget. But so they would have had to have been based on everything else I because that was the same year I got Crystal Swiftwind. I got a bunch of single-carded G.I. Joes. I got, gosh, what else? I am blanking on it now. I'll be able to remember it in a week or two when I have everything set up. And I can look at each toy and be like, okay, and I got that and this. It's kind of how it works now. You just have to see the actual item that I got. So. Oh wait, this metal piece is also the yellow cover. And it looks like the little peg right there is also, so there you go. It's very, very yellow. Okay, let's see. So part of his belt is red, but we can't see that part of it, so we're not going to worry about it. So the little stripes are yellow. Alright, and then his symbols are yellow. And use the silver gel pen for, because all of this, looking at the reference, looks like it was like silver foil stickers. So I'm going. And it looks like his face was chrome. Hello, Riley, my guest from last week. Lovely to see you again. It was a joy last week as well. It was a lot of fun. We definitely will need to have you come back at some point. And we'll color more Spider-Man. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. It looks like the artist actually, like this blank space right here, should be his other arm. So the artist just forgot he had two arms. Oh well. That'll be fine. I'm sure we can just reattach it. For his mask / visor, and then use the black glitter gel pen. Let's see that. A little extra juge. That's what the kids are calling it. That's what we used to call it. I think it's French. I don't know what it's for. Alright. Oh wow, it's almost 2 hours. I thought it was a little bit earlier. I thought we would get to do Baron Bon Joy today, but apparently not. The Baron and Turbo will have to wait for next time. We are 4 minutes till 2 hours, so we should probably go ahead and wrap up. Oh my goodness. Alright. Not much longer with this chair, y'all. Alright, so it's actually not bad. We've got an entire scooter done. And then about 50% done with this one. So, not a bad place to stop. We will finish this page not necessarily next time, but in a future stream. Like I said, next week was supposed to be Adam from Battle Round, but he had conflict. We're going to reschedule that. But also, it's good. It gives me extra time to get the studio together. So I may not stream next Sunday. I will know by Saturday. So, yeah, so it'll go up. I'm going to put something up tomorrow regardless, but then I'll private it and take it down if it's not going to happen. And like I said, I will know by Saturday. Thank you, Alex. And thank you, CJ. Then let's see. So next week, if I stream next week, we'll just work on whips because I have a big stack of things I've started on previous streams but not finished. And we'll save the rest of the Gobot for, I'm going to do one more Gobot stream, at least. And since I was the #1 vote getter. And then also on Monday, so this is a good morph into the what's coming up on the channel. Tomorrow, Monday, I've got a flip through of a modern Marvel Comics coloring book. And I'm going to color a Hulk as part of it. And so I'm going to do a stream. I don't know that it won't be, if we do next Sunday, it'll be whips. But at the end of the month, I'm going to do a live stream with the Marvel coloring book to see how many pages we can finish in a single stream. Because it's pretty simple art. It's not super... I did like the page for the video and it took less than an hour to do that. And that was me being extra fancy with it. So we're going to try to do a stream with this Marvel coloring book to see how many pages I can color in a single stream. I think it'll be fun. So anyway, that's the flip through of the book and the Hulk is tomorrow. And then that way, watch the flip through. And if you have any pages you want to see colored in that stream, let me know so I can prioritize them. There are a few that I'm going to do for shorts. So those won't be part of the stream, but anything, yeah, and I'll let you know, like, oh, I'm going to do that one as a stream. I'll let you know right now, She-Hulk, Spider-Woman, and Wasp will be shorts. So anyway, but tomorrow, Marvel, there are more shorts coming up all week. I've got some Frosta from Princess of Power, some Care Bears, Rainbow Bright. Friday is Color and Chill, more vintage 1977 Dip Dot Star Wars art. Saturday is a World of Barbie fashions from 1983. Every Sunday this month we'll have Goonies coloring shorts. So that's it for this week. And again, next Sunday, if I take the day off, you will know by Saturday because it'll go private, and I'll do a thing on the community post. So with that said, I'm going to go ice my wrist. I thank you for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you guys as always. I'm so glad you guys take time to hang out with me. I appreciate y'all. Like, you just will never know. Oh my god, nachos sound really good. I think I know what I'm having for lunch. Thanks, Mint with Card. And on that note, we will leave you as we always leave you these days with the burning, most important questions you may have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.
I haven't made up my mind yet. Incidentally, which one of you bitches is my mother?